with comics these days, you can't just be a comic artist, and that's the one thing I really wish. I'm just gonna be honest here. It really grinds my gears, you know. It's just you have to do so much to just be able to draw. All I wanted was to sit there and draw comics all day and just create my own work and put it out there and then get money somehow. That was basically my whole goal. I would just draw and then post it online, and then somebody would just give me money. I didn't know I had to market myself. I didn't know I had to do like YouTube videos. I didn't know I had to network with other artists and whatnot. I thought all you had to do was just post your art online, and then people would just sort of notice it and start liking it, and then somehow that would just translate into money. But it's a whole process, man. It's a whole thing, and I had to really learn how to actually go from making zero money to making some money. And right now, the only way I can make money is through my skills, which is my main skill right now is just coloring comics. I'm good at coloring comics. I've been coloring digitally since I guess Click Studio was called Manga Studio, and that's basically how I learned to color comics. And then in school I got better at it. They showed us how to flat, they showed us how to do different techniques and whatnot, and there I had to produce results, or else I would just get bad grades, you know. And that's basically what helped me like really get good at coloring on a more consistent basis. And now I'm doing it professionally, so that's how I'm making money in comics. But it's not really what I want to be doing. What I want to be doing is making Air Rider alone for money, and doing Kickstarters and putting it out there and putting out the books and doing all that. But right now I'm just drawing strips, or drawing little bits and pieces of Air Rider that I can, and putting it out there so that I don't know, so that I can get some attention on it. And then I already have a full first chapter and a full second chapter done, and those are ready to print, ship out, all that, and people can read those on Global Comics, and I'll put the link in the description. But that's all I got out there for now, and it might not be the best way for me specifically to try to put out long form comics on a solo consistent basis, where if you're doing monthly comics like Invincible, or I don't know, like Rumble, you're putting out a book with a team. Somebody's writing, somebody's drawing, somebody is coloring, somebody's lettering. But with webcomics, with stuff like Air Rider, it's all just me. So I can't just do that on a monthly basis or even a bi-monthly basis. There's too many variables in my life, you know. I just got a root canal today, and only half of the root canal. They was so infected they couldn't even do the full thing. They had to. I'm gonna have to do part 2 in a week or so, in 2 weeks. But there is not only that. There's a whole bunch of things that keeps me from drawing how I like and creating on a consistent basis. And this, like, making a whole YouTube channel, that's a whole nother thing that I have to do to get my name out there, get people to know me, to know my work, and put stuff in ways that people can, or like advertise Air Rider, so that people are like, oh wow, this is pretty interesting, let me see what this is about. And I'm not using this video to talk about Air Rider. I'm basically talking about the struggles of a comic creator in this day and age. Because in this day and age, you have to do something completely different. You have to do basically what the audience demands, or you have to put your work where people are actually paying attention. People are paying attention on YouTube. People are paying attention on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook. That's the main spots where people are going to. It's not really personal websites, even though I have one. But you use all that attention from those websites to funnel back to your website, to your email list, and that's where you have that basically captured attention to where you can market directly to fans who cared enough to put their email in. And that's just one of those aspects of how to put yourself out there, how to market and all that. But I keep putting out posts and tweets every day, and my followers don't grow. It's just weird. It's like it's a slog. I have to figure out how to do things the right way, and then do them consistently enough so that they're building a fan base that I can actually then start selling my work to. But it takes time. Everything like this takes time, and there's other guys like me who've been doing YouTube for a long time and who now have an audience that they can sell to and monetize to and whatnot. But I never did YouTube consistently enough to make a giant audience, and I never did comics consistently enough to build up a huge backlog of material to send out and sell, because I never took it as seriously as a job until just recently. And poverty will do that to you. Like, if you don't have any money, like, you're gonna be stuck at a dead-end job. I'm a dishwasher right now, and you'll be stuck working that type of job until you get serious about your side income or your side hustle or the actual thing that you want to do in your life. If you don't get serious about that, then you'll be stuck dishwashing for the rest of your life, or you'll be stuck going from job to job until one makes enough money for you to just kind of sort of settle at. But that's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. I want to make my comics, and I want to make them well enough so that I can sell that and then just make a living off of doing that. And I'll also be coloring comics, which is not ideal. It's not like what I wanted to get into the industry for, but it's good training. It's part of my, I guess you could say, my comics thesis. Learning and mastering color theory and lighting and atmosphere and that kind of stuff is part of the, I guess you could say, visionary style that I'm trying to achieve in my comics later on, because I can't do it right now exactly. Like, I can try to do a piece that kind of encompasses everything that I really like about illustration and comics and manga and anime and animation, but that would just take too long. And like, that's the thing about being in the industry. You can't just make the thing that you want to make right now. You can wish you can do that, but it's almost impossible compared to what I need to do to feed myself for the next week, or what I need to do to make money in this capacity, or what I need to do to put my name out there in this capacity. It's like, I have a comic friend who's had this story that he wanted to do for the Justice League for years and years, and he'd been talking about it for a long time, ever since we met, and he still hasn't produced it. And it's not because he can't, it's not because he doesn't have the skills to or the means to, it's just because he has no time, and it's not the right time space pocket for him to manifest that out into the world. And it's not to get all like crazy woo on you in terms of the terms I'm using, but it's like, it's not the time for that creation to be made yet, because of so many outside factors that are holding him back from doing it. It's just like, he's got more immediate things. He's creating stuff that will eventually lead to him having the opportunity to create that in the best possible way. Could he start right now? Sure. But he'd have to stop everything else that he's doing that already has momentum that's going to actually make him money. He'd have to stop all that other stuff in order to just focus on and do this new project and try to build that up into something. It would be dumb. It would just be dumb to like cut off everything that he's doing right now to try to do this passion idea that he's had for years. And that's the thing, man. When I was a kid, I thought like, oh, that's just how mangakas create. They just decide they're going to create it and then they're able to create it. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just do the same thing. And for the longest time, I just learned all the requisite skills that it would take to draw on the same level as my favorite artists, my favorite manga creators. And eventually I learned this, like, I have limitations. I was like, wait a minute, I can't draw like that, or I don't want to do it that way, or I can't fully understand the language of Japanese well enough to write in that language as well. So it's like, dang, there's certain things that are stopping me from making the thing that I want to make, including like physical limitations. Like I just don't have the mental capacity or the physical capacity to or even and especially, well, I wouldn't put it like that. I would say I do have those abilities to be able to, but I don't have any inclination or desire to sacrifice myself, sacrifice my life to making comics day in and day out, and try to beat other creators in the Japanese manga industry. It's insanely difficult, even for the people who are actually good at it, who are actually built for that industry. It's already insanely difficult. So then for me to try to step into another country, into another language that I'm not familiar with, and then to try to beat them at their own game. I was a kid when I was thinking of doing that, but I don't know, getting older, you're just like, nah, that's a dumb idea. Like that's not gonna it's too much risk for too little reward. And it's not that it's a huge risk, it's just that what am I sacrificing for what I could gain? And it's like there's not much to gain if I'm not good enough, you know? Like if I fail, then it's like I got a cool story of that time that I sacrificed everything to draw manga in Japan. But if I succeed, I might get an anime and all that stuff, but even then that would be difficult. So I figured if I were to do things my own way, I would want to color my comics. I'd want to letter my comics. I'd want to pretty much do the whole aspect, the whole process of making comics by myself for the most part, and then put it out in the way that, in the vision that I like, in the way that I understand art and visual storytelling, and then just keep going from there. Right now I'm just developing skills. I'm still developing skills, and it just takes time. And I've been drawing since I was born. So, you know, I'm 27 now, but before, I would say I only started taking it seriously around 12 years old, when I first saw Naruto, and I first realized that he started off serialized as a manga in Shonen Jump first. And I thought, okay, so I should just get published in Shonen Jump. And so then for years I learned Japanese. I tried to develop all the skills. I learned like, oh, you gotta learn perspective, anatomy, storytelling, all this kind of stuff, how to write and all that. I was just like, all right, cool, that's what I'll do. And then I would just learn all the skills and then go over to Japan, and then that's what I would do. I would make the best manga I could, get an anime, and make millions of dollars, and then that would be it. That would be my whole dream accomplished. But over time, like, my goal has like matured and evolved to where that's not what I want to do exactly. Like, the whole reason I wanted to make a whole bunch of money was to just to have a free life and just enjoy, you know, going out and hanging out with friends and all that stuff. But now it's like, okay, well, if I don't need to go to Japan and learn Japanese and try to stick it out in their really harsh manga industry, if that's something I can do in America or do here alone or with a small team and not risk too much, then I'd rather do that and still make money. Like, I'd rather do that because you no longer need to go through the regular channels to have a career in comics. You no longer need to go into certain industries or certain pre-established institutions to make lots of money in comics. You can do it on your own now. And I've seen a guy make his own full-length, feature-length animation on his own. He did it for 2 years. It's called Worlds Divide, and his studio is named Cloudrise Studios. But he's just one singular guy working on the full animation. He's like Miyazaki by himself, you know. And he did it with 3D programs and all this kind of stuff. And he did it by himself. And I'm just like, wow. So you don't really need to go through the whole anime industry to get an anime made out of your own thing. You can do it solo. You don't need to go through the whole comic book industry to draw Spider-Man or Daredevil or whatever. You can draw your own characters, put out your own content, and get people interested in what you have to say, and then get readers that way and make money that way. And you don't have to go through the pre-established channels anymore. So I'm just like, okay, well, fuck it, let's do it by myself. Let me make my comics by myself how I want, and then put it out there for people to enjoy, and let the market decide what they want out of me next. So yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna continue to do with Air Rider, and just try to make it. I've given it a solid framework to where I can make it into whatever I want it to be, or whatever people are excited for it to be. And using the strip format, I can be telling one story one week and then switch to a whole different story the next week, and yet it's still a coherent experience, because it's within the framework of a wider story that contains all the strips. So over time, you'll see what I mean. It's basically like any other strip that you've read, but it'll evolve over time and get deeper and more complex and more interesting, because I have an ending in mind already. I already know the ending, what it's going to be, what the whole point of the story is, the themes and stuff I'm going to cover in it. And I'm not even going to spoil it or anything, but now I'm not tied down to a linear story or to the way the comic book industry does things. I can tell it how I want, and I'm really excited for to put the story out to you guys. So yeah, Air Rider, it's called Air Rider High School Hero. You can read it on Global Comics right now. Eventually I'm going to modify my website so you can read it on there, and I'm going to try to put more on Tapas, on Webtoons. I'm going to try to get it out to as many locations as I can. But yeah, I forget what the point of the video was, but I think I've talked long enough, and I hope you've enjoyed. But this has been Comic Ken, and I'm signing off. See ya.